Welcome to Final Tag.
Final Tag 2025.
Woo!
If you don't know what that is, I guess Google it.
It's kind of, yeah.
There's a set group of questions, in case you don't know, that somebody that we, who does this?
So it's like a different, like vinyl community YouTuber every year. We're not super into the vinyl community YouTube channel, but you know,
we're in the vinyl community for sure.
For sure, yeah. So, and it's fun to do these. You're just kind of like, you know, it's like you're picking albums to go with each question, with each prompt.
Yeah,
and it's
same
so
20
fun.
questions that anyone in the world can do a response to, and many people do, and we're just one little one.
Yeah.
So without any further ado.
All right, cool. First question is best purchase of 2024. So last year, new or old?
New or old?
Can I kick it off?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you should.
All right. Well, I picked something old. So pretty much a year ago, went to the Orlando record show and found a very long desired album by this wonderful vocalist, Beverly Kenny. Born to Be Blue, kind of her classic album considered. I couldn't believe I found it. I couldn't believe the price I paid for it. It was very affordable, and I am thrilled to have it. I actually found 3 of her records from the same vendor, and so I'm excited to go back to the Orlando Record Fair this year in hopes to repeat that magic.
Dang, shout out Orlando Record Fair. I'm jealous of that plan.
I know.
Mine is also a vocal jazz one. This Eartha Kitt, Bad But Beautiful. I've been looking for this for a really long time. I found this at Greenfield Records in Greenfield, Massachusetts. I was visiting family there, and I always go there every year. And I saw this, and I was like, oh my god. I collected a lot of Eartha Kitt over this last year. It seems like between travels over. But this is my favorite one for sure that I found. I just need that Bad Eartha now. It's like the last big one I need. So maybe this is the year. Okay. Next is 50 Years Later, best album from 1974.
Okay. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Continue the pattern.
I guess we keep
So, as I should explain or preface, the word best was being kind of taken in with a grain of salt. Not that this is my absolute favorite album from that year, but it is an album that I love from that year. And this is Joe Henderson with the incredible Alice Coltrane together on an album called The Elements. 4 tracks for one each element, fire, air, water, and earth. Got an original copy of this traded in, I'm sure. I don't think I found this. This is one of the great things about owning a record store is you get a pretty good record collection going from people trading it in. So got to upgrade my reissue to an original copy of that this year. And that is from 50 years ago.
Dang.
Well, 51 now.
51. This is what I didn't realize. So it was 1974, but was just looking through records and I love this album, Art from the Cheap Suit Serenaders. This is fantastic. I actually bought this for John for Christmas years ago. No,
I know I had one.
I bought it when we lived in Michigan.
Okay.
No, you know who I sold that to? Matilda's parents.
Oh.
Shout out Matilda's parents.
Hey guys.
This is such a freaking good album. I really like Art from both his art and his music. What is it?
Very fun.
Get a load of this. Yeah, it's just very fun. And you got the Blue Goose label and everything. So very nice from 1974.
Cool. All right. So next we have an album that defines the genre. I couldn't resist the obvious blunt. My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. If you ask someone for a shoegaze album, this defines shoegaze. I'm sure the term came up before this album. Maybe I shouldn't say I'm sure, but definitely very shortly before this, if not because of this. But a defining shoegaze album, one of my favorite genres. Absolute classic. Can't go any other way than say that defines shoegaze.
For sure. The genre that I'm newly into but very obsessed with is vocal jazz, and so this is I feel like we should have a debate over this.
I would not.
Would you? Yeah.
You know,
but okay, this in my mind 100% defines the genre, and I knew I wanted to pick vocal jazz, but I didn't know which album I was gonna pick, and I was I really wanted to be a June Christie because she's my favorite, but I think this album totally epitomizes so much of it. The cover is a little campy. like all of the songs are like very like sassy. This has got Julie's version of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend on it, which is like the best version in my mind. And this is just like, if you listen to this and you're like, I like this, and it's like you'll like the entire genre. But it's just like, yeah, Julie's voice is fantastic, and the song choice is perfect, which matters so much to me on a vocal jazz album. And this is, if someone was like, where should I start, I would give them this album and be like, listen to it. And this is a hand-me-down from you, so thanks for it.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what album I would pick for that.
That's
all right.
one I was thinking about.
I guess we'll go 2 and 2 or something. So this next one, the official question is
did
best,
you do country too?
best band from your home country. I did hometown.
Yeah, I was doing like our area. Yeah.
So hometown, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and very soft spot in my heart. Maybe low key guilty pleasure is the Goo Goo Dolls. Which, if anyone knows the Goo Goo Dolls, they probably don't know this record. This is their first album, and they were just nasty punk band.
What happened?
Believe it or not. And then I don't know, alternative AAA radio got a hold of them, and then they became very soft. But their first 3 albums I swear by, the third one being my favorite. Actually, it's like kind of power poppy masterpiece. But first 2 albums were pretty punk rock, and I saw them back in the in between era, and they were great. Buffalo, go Bills.
Go Buffalo. Or go Buffalo. So I did, this is like, you know, a Florida thing. And there were like so many I could pick. I was like, I thought about, you know, like the new Saw Paw album that came out this year.
Mm-hmm. Shout
Shout out Saw Paw. Like the Terror Management single that came out this year was also fantastic. Mm-hmm. Lots of good local stuff. But one that is really cool that just got put out is Polatica Club. And I think this is, our Tone Vendor exclusive with like the really cool shout out
store exclusive.
Yeah, store exclusive, and that's like so cool that we got the opportunity to do that. Sold out. Shout out Mike Taylor, my friend Mike Taylor, who's in this band, and a lot of other local folks as well. But yeah, this is like such a neat thing. I didn't know about it prior to this release, so it was really cool to hear this past year and be like, whoa, there's some like cool stuff happening like around these parts for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
And but you have
a seatmate now.
Oh, hi Chanel.
Chanel is here.
Do you have a St. Augustine one? A Florida one?
I did not pick one.
Okay. No, I was just here.
My original birth hometown.
Yeah. Okay. An artist you miss dearly.
Oh, you want me to?
Let me put this away, if you don't mind. I'm like having a hard time.
Yeah. All right. So, my pick sort of spans a few of these genres. Is REM, which pretty much disbanded, I think. I didn't even
what if there's a reunion
investigate
like now?
this. But like they're still active on social media. But I've just been on this huge REM kick lately. And this kind of ties into the next question and something that we're going to do a fun one of our videos coming up where we interview people that I'll get into in a second, that I'll harken back to this specific album and band. But REM Green, this era specifically, I love it.
Uh-huh.
I miss it.
I'm like sad that you thought I didn't like REM.
I don't know why.
I don't know. It must be somebody else you're thinking of. So I like thought this was someone who died.
Oh, sure. That's what I.
So I guess I like took the morbid route on this. But Melanie died this past year, which is so sad. Shout out Melanie. I'm looking at this question. I was thinking like everyone who died this last year, and there were a lot of greats. But Melanie for sure like never gets enough credit. I feel like this album has beautiful people on it, but like all of her songs are like just like so fantastic. Yeah, R.I.P. Melanie.
I started going that direction and then just pivoted.
That also counts. But like go listen to a Melanie record and be like kind of sad, but also enjoy her music. Your partner just dumped you. What? Oh no, I'm sorry. Best live album in your collection. Best live album in your collection.
Yes.
We're assuming. Sorry.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I don't. This was kind of a hard one. I like don't have a lot of live albums. I feel like. But I picked this one because it's kind of a cool thing. I picked White Stripes at Live at the Detroit Institute of Arts. Mostly because like this is a fine album. But I love the DIA, and I used to live like very near there, and I would go there all the time. And I didn't go to the show. This is in 2001, but I totally wish I did. That would have been awesome. It's like it was so cool that they did this. This is like, if you've been into the DIA, this is like in the food court that this happened. There's like a really nice food court. Oh, Detroit Institute of Arts. And you like, it's a cute food court, but like that's where the concert took place, and I just think that's like the wildest thing, because I've eaten there so many times and I cannot fathom like the White Stripes show happening there. Like it's so crowded in the picture. So very neat that this happened.
Nice. So talking about that REM album, if you have not seen their live concert video from the Green Tour, like that I do have a bootleg of that album, but I didn't pick it for that. But my concept, I don't think I've even told you, is I want to ask people what your time machine bucket list concert.
Oh my god, that's good. Whoa.
And that would be one of many. Obviously, I'd love to go see John Coltrane and any number of things, but Green Era REM tour. Oh my god, I would die. That would be incredible. It's like it even crushes the album, just like seeing the show and listening to the albums. But my pick, Foghat Live. This album rips, I swear to you. I am not a Foghat fan. I don't consider myself. But their version of Slow Ride on this album, the whole album, they're just like, this would be another Time Machine bucket list. Like, can you imagine seeing Foghat in this era? Look at these guys.
Oh my god, whoa,
This is also a dream Halloween costume for my family. I want to be this guy, and then I don't know who everyone else would be, but that would be Foghat really from the Foghat Live album. Yeah. Is a great Halloween costume, but great album. You can pick it up for very little money.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, this is the sad one, or maybe possibly sad.
Sure.
Your partner just dumped you.
That would be sad.
What album are you putting on? Yeah, for sure. I was trying to think of something that was funny that was like, I'm gonna kill yours. So I listen to a lot of sad music, but I don't consider this like super sad. But like, this is Joyous Manor, self-titled. This is like kind of a guilty pleasure album for me, but like when I'm upset, I'll like put this on and like cry, yell along to it. I'm like, I'm a constant headache, and it's like so great. Very cathartic. I got this like a million years ago, and since this is like and I've thought about selling this like multiple times as I like watch the Periscope on Discogs, but then I would like get sad and put it on and be like, oh, I can't sell this. So anyway, this is like my like if I got dumped, and after that I would go out and I'd buy a bag of licorice.
Oh my god, dark. So sadly, my answer to this, I don't own the album, and maybe it's because of the memories associated with it.
Oh no!
Because like the last time I got dumped was in 1993, sort of, and then my current wife dumped me. Not while we were married.
Stop.
And I think I listened to the same album both times, which is the Store Substitute, which we also don't have, but the Cranberries' debut album. Everybody else is doing it, but why can't we? Right? Is that the name of the album?
I think so.
I like won't even listen to it anymore because like
really.
Yeah,
Too sad?
I guess I would, because like what a great album. My second choice that I was like, well, I need a physical object, is Lowe's first album, which is a gut punch.
Yeah.
But I don't own that one either because it's like $1 million. So if anyone wants to buy me a Christmas present, my birthday's coming up sooner. So those are my maybe 1-2 choices that I don't own on purpose, sort of.
Okay, best sounding drums on an album. Much happier question. This was a hard one for me. I feel like I'm not super into listening to the drums.
No.
On things.
No, drums are great.
Drums are great.
I mean, I wasn't saying you didn't think drums.
No, drums are totally great. I picked one that is maybe kind of an odd choice, but Beat Happening, Jamboree. Like all Heather Lewis percussion is so great and so just like off the cuff, and like this album in particular had like all the Beat Happening stuff, but just has like very just like it just goes with the vibe so well. It always sounds good. It's like, you know, sometimes it's really noisy and mixes with Calvin's whole like rah, whatever's happening, and sometimes it's more low key, and like the whole thing where they like always had to borrow drums from somebody, like they would always like borrow drums or like whatever when they were recording or had a show. So yeah, a cool different drum pick.
I like it. I like thinking outside the box, which I was not clever enough to do, but I had a hard time deciding. But again, this is, is it the best? Is it my absolute favorite? This is the first thing that came to mind. I was between In Utero,
Ooh,
Steve Albini drums, you cannot beat. And I still haven't found the answer. There's a Mitski song that sounds just like Steve Albini produced it.
Wait, which one? I don't know. I don't think so.
I gotta think what the song title is, but it sounds like the Pixies almost, like at first, because he also produced the Pixies. But here's the again blunt, obvious answer. But this album specifically, because what is this? I'm embarrassed that I don't even know. I mean, it's got everything. There's Black Dog, rock and roll. It's Misty Mountain Hop, right? It's the one. No, When the Levee Breaks. When the Levee Breaks. It's specific, like that song is just like the drum song because it's the one that Beastie Boys sampled for Robin and Steel.
Yeah.
And it's just, when you listen to it, you can't believe, like, for the era and like the sound and the production and the talent and everything, and then the fact that it could be sampled so well. Like the whole oeuvre of that drum intro is like drums in the dictionary.
That's like a very good answer to that. Yeah, no, totally. Okay, favorite artist who's a member of 2 or more bands.
Yeah.
This is like an easy one for me.
Is it? I got, you want me to go? So
Yeah.
I don't, again, an
favorite,
artist,
best,
but one of my favorites because personal connection. Shout out to Christian Seville from this band and this band simultaneously, Eternal and Slowdive. Guitarist for Slowdive. This came out same era, maybe a side project. Maybe this started first, both 89-ish. Not this album. This is our Tone Gunner exclusive variant that we had autographed when Slowdive came through. So I'm showing off, obviously. And then even closer to home, Christian wrote me an email in the early 2000s and said, "Will you release my new album?" And I said, "Is this a joke? Who is this really?" Because clearly one of my idols is not just emailing me out of the blue asking me to release your record, but it really was him. And I released a few albums from them, including their debut album, Monster Movie. He is Christian and Sean, who was also part of Eternal. So the full circle comes together here, and give Christian a little shout out.
Shout out. Yeah.
What
That Monster Movie's so good. Okay, so one of my favorites like ever. This is like ties into a couple of my answers for a few of these. Is Rose Melberg, and so I've got obviously of the Softies, but also of Tiger Trap, and also like a bunch of other bands too, like even the Ashendon Papers that came out like 2 years ago, which is my best of the year that year. Rose Melberg is amazing. She's a fantastic songwriter and vocalist, and her guitar playing is just so beautiful. And like, she's one of my favorite musicians alive or dead today, and she's alive. Luckily, I like met her this past year. I think I mentioned that in our previous video. Yeah, so just a couple of the fantastic albums that she is a part of. She's the best. Shout out Rose Melberg. I'm a big fan.
I can't believe I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that's a really obvious choice for me. Beatles, should we like at the same time?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Beatles.
Okay.
Beatles or Stones.
Oh no!
So
We're both Beatles.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
I figured, but I wasn't sure.
99%, right? I mean, no shade on any
shade.
Stones fans. This one I picked specifically because Hannah's husband John loaned me the movie of this, which I had never seen, which is under an hour and a very entertaining watch. And it made me like really a Paul McCartney fan.
Aww.
Like, he's just like so handsome in that movie.
Agree.
So charming, and his songwriting, like he's my Beatle, I guess. And this is, you can't go wrong with this era. So yeah, the Beatles over the Stones. The question 100%. I don't think we even pitched, but Beatles or Stones.
Oh, Beatles or Stones, yeah. And yeah, Stones. I don't know. I don't dislike the Stones.
I have like 8 million
Yeah,
records by both.
totally. Yeah, but Beatles were an obvious choice.
It's kind of like saying apples or oranges. Like, oh, I'm enjoying them both.
Fruit. Yeah, good. This is my UK mono. But yeah, love the Beatles. Like, how can you not? Shout out to my best friend Sarah, who when we were in college had a radio show that was she just played Beatles music, and like she like never repeated a song. This like ran for like a whole semester, maybe more.
Really?
And it was
including
like
side projects or just Beatles.
I think these side projects were allowed, so you get like a little Paul McCartney or something on there. But also shout out George Harrison, my favorite Beatle. Ooh.
And a shout out to our former employee Riley, who
Riley!
an adorable story that she'll be embarrassed or
No,
will
she'll think
refute
it's
or something.
cute, yeah.
But apparently, when Riley was a preteen, heard that there's this debate, Beatles or Stones, so she went on her own accord, I think, to the library or something, and got all the albums from both and did a deep dive to decide is she a Beatles or a Stones girl, and she's a Stones girl. That's how the story
love that
goes.
so much.
I think I brought this up to her, and she was like, "Oh my god, no." Or something. But,
well, you know, you
yeah.
could have changed your mind too, but like
I'm not sure what
yeah.
the truth is there, but I love the lore.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you found a bag of weed. What are you going to listen to? Whoa.
So this is maybe an odd choice, but Secret Shine Untouched, another shoegaze record, maybe off the radar for most, but there is some real trippy sounds and effects on this album that I may or may not have been sober when I first heard, and it just made a permanent indentation in my brain. That if you found a bag of weed and wanted to listen to this, you'd be having a nice night, I guess. So.
My answer went a different direction, and I picked William Shatner, the Transformed Man, because I love laughing. And this would, I'm sure, just be even funnier if you were stoned. But just like, I like just every time I hear it, I like want to like overact along with him and do the whole thing, and like him like interpreting Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds, where he's just like singing the entire, like you got this great picture of Captain Kirk on the back. This is so dumb. Sorry, William Shatner. And this would be so funny to listen to, just really stoned. What is it? Oh, and now from the 1980s you still listen to. This is
the dumbest question vinyl tag creator.
No, you're so, don't be mean.
I mean, that was very harsh,
yeah,
but still, look, who doesn't still listen to music?
What if I was like, I don't listen to anything related?
people love music from the 80s and will always listen to music from the 80s. Sure. I don't remember who's going first, but I just
go ahead.
Something. So not only is this something I still listen to from the 80s, but this is one of my favorite albums of all time. The Primitives, lovely, 1988, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure it's from 88. Shout out to Marlene from my first dishwashing job, who introduced me to this record.
Aww.
And I have listened to it consistently since I was 15. So The Primitives, lovely, amazing, jangly, UK, female-fronted guitar, indie, pop, many more words that I could say, but just listen.
I just got a copy of that for your opinion. I was like, I need that.
Yes.
And I like forgot how much I love that album. It's like great. A really, really good thing. Yeah, same. Like I listen to so many 80s things. I thought about picking like an 80s metal thing because I really love 80s metal stuff. But instead I want to pick something like very 80s. And this Till Tuesday, Voices Carry. Yes. I love this album. So my friend Emily, shout out Emily, like introduced me to Amy Mann as like, I like knew of Amy Mann, but like didn't like know like all of her music. And so like I love Amy Mann's solo stuff. But then I like heard her do like a solo piano version of Voices Carry, and I was like, oh, like I don't know what that song is. But then I found this band, and this is like, I think we have this record in our 80s section for like not a lot of money at all. This is so great. She looks like Kate McKinnon on the cover, which is really fun. Also a great Halloween costume if anyone's looking for a Halloween costume this year. But this album is so freaking good, and it sounds like, to me, this is like very 80s sounding. I wasn't alive in the 80s, but I'm like, whoa, this is so 80s, and it's like so good, and I'm so excited to listen to it today.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we need to listen to all these.
I know, yeah, we totally will. Okay, an artist whose political stance has soured you. Did you?
I didn't
I
do-
answered in like a roundabout way
Yeah,
because
same.
this is a tough one.
Political and the grand scheme.
Yeah. I thought about picking Dua Lipa because Dua Lipa, you like Coke with jalapeno juice in it, and that's weird. And every time I'm gonna listen to you, I'm gonna think about that now. But I'm not gonna stop listening to you. But I don't have any Dua Lipa out, so I didn't pick that one.
Go ahead.
I picked. Okay, so this is like the opposite. I love Allen Ginsberg. I'm a big fan of his writing. I went to Sunshine Records. Shout out Sunshine Records in Gainesville, one of my favorite places to shop for records that's not here. And I found this album. I was like, oh my god, I need it. It's an Allen Ginsberg album. And then I put it on before we opened one day. And I was like, oh my god, I can never play this in the store. This is so, like, very, very non-PC. Like, lots of stuff happening here. That just like stuff you shouldn't say these days. And so I was like, big yikes. But also, like, I'm still really happy to have this album, and it's a cool one to have in my collection, even though it's got some stuff on there that like probably doesn't hold up super well today.
So similarly, I can't show the true answer to this because years ago I pulled out an Eazy-E album that I used to enjoy a lot as a teenager, and was like, this is horrible. I can't listen to this. But, people will say, oh, it was the times or whatever, which is no excuse.
Yeah.
But I still own 2 albums by J. Rue the Damaja. Fantastic, intelligent rapper who has the very unfortunate, misguided whatever to be misogynistic and homophobic, which I don't like at all. Very opposed to those two things, which sadly is I love hip hop, and it is prevalent in so much hip hop, especially from the 90s and 80s, which is totally ruins my day when I want to hear something that has like great witty lyrics otherwise, or clever, and with great beats, but it's a shame. So that's my pan answer for that. What the politics is, I don't know.
Yeah. Show a favorite record label. Okay.
Ooh.
This one was a really fun one to think about.
Yeah. I got, and again, a favorite, because I have so many favorites. But my choice is this label I discovered a few years ago called Mode Records. You probably can't see it, but it has this great little logo of a music note that with some things around it that makes it say Mode. And everything on this label is fantastic as far as jazz and vocal jazz. They kind of do both. I've tried to start collecting them all, and there are many impossible to find albums on this label, but all of the art is like this. They're all like sketches, paintings, drawings, in the same style, which is terrific. And a lot of them got reissued on another label that's pretty great called Interlude. But as far as jazz labels go, I could go all day with so many different labels. So it was tough. I was going to pick Creation Records. I was going to pick Blue Note, the obvious, but wanted to go a little deeper to like literally everything on this label I love. And there's some clunkers on some of those other labels. So that's a good solid label.
That has a cover of, or not a cover, she has a version of Swinging on a Star in there. I feel like that's like a vocal jazz, like not offered up very frequently, so I'm excited to listen to that shit. Okay, so an obvious one for me would be K Records. I was like, oh, that's like a throwaway. But I thought about this some more. Okay, so this record label, Father Daughter Records, they're out of somewhere in Florida. I think it's South Florida. I should have looked this up before.
Portland, but I could be wrong.
There's some kind of South Florida connection. And Jake actually, I think, knows some of the crew from this label, or used to. I don't know if they're still there, but they had this like really cute little like, oh, so sweet. And so like in 2016, this is one of my top albums. Lisa Prank, I really like a bunch of stuff that she's done. This is on Father Daughter. And then like in this era, like everything on they were putting out, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. It was like a bunch of cute like indie like twee girly things. and then like forgot about him for a while, and like I kept checking back just like, oh, what are they putting out? Like nothing that was like I was super into. No offense, just like wasn't. But then this was released on Father Daughter this year, and look at their like grown-up logo now, and it's like glow up.
Oh wow!
Isn't that so cool? I don't know if it's just for this or I imagine it's totally changed.
I didn't even notice that.
I was so surprised that this. First of all, love this new Softies album, my top album of 2024. Saw Rose and Jen in like Somerville, Mass. It was so great. But this was on Father Daughter Records, and I was like, this is like coming back around, and now I love Father Daughter again. Please put out more things like this. I am such a big fan, and I thought it was so cool that like not totally disparate, but totally different, like different eras of stuff I like coming together on the same label. So cool. Okay.
A run of 3 great singles.
Okay, so I like have kind of like a cop out for this one, but I'm moving right now, and I like can't look through my 7 inches super easily. So I picked this Go Sailor album because on the back it has a bunch of like, all the singles that came out before. Yes. Yeah. So, but like
those 3 Go Sailor singles. Well,
so fantastic. Yeah. Another Rose Melberg project, so ties into my and I'll hashtag shout out to Silverland, another fantastic little for person.
Nice. So I've got the world's introduction to a band I already mentioned earlier. How lazy of me. You got Slowdive's debut EP Slowdive, followed up by Slowdive's second EP or single Morning Rise, followed by their third EP/single. I took EP to be single.
Yeah.
Catch the Breeze is on this, probably their best song. I was so thrilled when they performed it this year at the amphitheater. 3 incredible albums. This is again the Creation Records label that I mentioned earlier. Back in the formative shoegaze years, this was a very common thing to just be like, boom, single or EP, like one after the other, and they were just all like, whoa, leave me wanting more, and then they would like knock out an album, and then you'd be like, finally, like, the release is here. So yeah, that again, one of my favorite bands, and that introduction of 3 singles is just was the obvious answer for me there.
What is next? An RSD purchase that you actually consistently listen to. That's a good one.
Yeah, this is a kind of a tough choice for me, but because they're so like every year I take a RSD release because I want to listen to. Like yeah. I'm not just collecting them, I guess, which some people do.
You know what my like actual pick is that I didn't get, but I wish I'd gotten, is that Guided by Voices Do the Collapse that you have. And I wish they would just do like regular issuing of that. That's a really good one. That's like...
They should put that back out. I think there's a weird ownership issue with that.
Ooh. Just put it back out. But my actual answer is this.
Ooh, yeah.
Polaris.
We do listen to that.
We do listen to this a lot. Yes. Yeah. I really like this, and it's like music from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, like an old Nickelodeon show, but that was before my time, so I don't notice that.
Look how cheap it was compared to what it's worth now.
Oh, don't look at that. Don't look at that old price. That's not what it goes for now. But this was like my introduction to this album was when it came out for Record Store, and I was like, oh my god, this is so great, and I listened to it pretty frequently. Yeah, so it's a must-have. Oh, it's been reissued since too, so you can get a non-RSD copy.
But that's still expensive.
Is it still
it's
okay? Well, never mind. Don't.
And if you don't know, this is the band soundtracking the Adventures of Pete and Pete TV show. So my pick, and again, like all the RSD ones that I get is just all things that I would listen to, consistently. I don't know, but definitely play them, often. But when you have a large record collection, you're not playing the same stuff over and over. But this is an incredible. Like I was thrilled when they announced this. When the list came out, I said, I'm definitely getting a copy of that because original copy of this, you'll have to remortgage the house. Kenny Dorham, Quiet Kenny. It's got my favorite bass player in jazz, Paul Chambers, on it. I got to collect everything he has and love Kenny Dorham, Tommy Flanagan on piano, Art Taylor on drums. Just an incredible solid lineup. So RSD has been working with Kraft to do mono editions. For Record Store Day, and then when they come out later, they do the stereo editions. So that's it's cool that it's collectible. Some people get real picky about the mono versus stereo. I'm not that picky, but I'm just thrilled to have the album, and I love listening to it.
Okay.
I'm really curious to hear what you got.
Okay. You're totally gonna be like, of course you'd pick that. You can be reincarnated as any artist that are like.
Oh, I was thinking this one. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. That I have a good answer for that one.
You know what? I forgot to answer this next one.
Okay, that's okay.
I don't have anything to show.
All right,
go on.
Okay, but if you can be reincarnated as any artist, dead or alive, who's gonna be? My pick. I feel like it's not this one. Is Blossom Dearie.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Blossom Dearie, so cool. Her name's Blossom. That's like her real name. She's from a Dutch family. She like lives in France. She speaks French. She's like an incredible pianist. She has a great voice. I just want to like be her and like play in some supper clubs, like experience, you know, whatever's happening in France back in the day. But then she like goes on. She's like also like great songwriter later in her life. And then like she got to work on freaking Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
That's such a great career. This is like the career I would totally want if I wanted to be like a jazz vocalist. But she's so cool, such a cool lady. I can only imagine that her life was a lot of fun. So I Blossom Dearie.
That was a great choice. But way better than mine. But which I don't even have one to show, which is so stupid because this artist I own the most records by. And I guess do I actually want to be reincarnated? I don't know. But
yeah,
that's this guy.
a good question.
But John Coltrane is like the artist that I admire the most. I love his music, every facet of it. If you don't know, he started with Miles Davis and was doing bebop, and then went out on his own and just like excelled at every level of life, which you have to admire. And his like he got into free jazz and just was playing, totally alienating his audience in his quest for the perfect sound. Like he just was trying every note and combination of them to try to get there. And then died, sadly, which, that's, again, do I really want to be reincarnated as someone that had a disease and passed away? Probably not. But one of the most admired musicians in history, I guess. Not that I need those accolades either. So, I don't know, I have a terrible answer.
Well, I don't know.
But he is like, there's a church of John Coltrane. That's how revered this man is because of what he has done.
Dude, is the church like you get reincarnated as him? Maybe that's like.
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't been to that church.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, maybe someday. Okay, best 3 lines in a song. This is like I think the obvious answer for me. So I've got Jerry Southern meets Cole Porter as like my like thing to show for this. Cole Porter is one of the greatest songwriters of all time in my mind. I don't love whatever his face is doing here. This is a little weird. But okay, so this I got a dollar bin. Shout out our dollar bin. If you haven't been through our dollar bin, there's some good stuff in there.
Nice.
Jerry Southern is like kind of famous for Cole Porter standards. But the first track on this, I like put this on. I was like, do I need this? Because sometimes we'll pull out dollar records and we're like, do we need this? Is Don't Look at Me That Way. It's the first time I'd ever heard that song. And like, there's this line in the song that I love. Or like, a couple lines. But it starts out like so normal. She's like, I'm so mild, I'm so meek. My will is strong, but my won't is weak. So don't look at me that way. And it's like, oh my god. That's like such a great line. I love like the wordplay between like will and won't. It's like very flirtatious, but also like so like coy. It's amazing. I think it's so clever. The entire song is so clever. Everything Cole Porter writes is very, very clever. He's the original, like, that I know of, like, reference boy, to be like, this, like, to reference, like, Mickey Mouse, but also, like, a Bendel bonnet. Like, what is that? We don't know if that is nowadays. But I love those lines. I love that song, and, like, anything I think Cole Porter is, like, gonna be, like, for me, like, some of the best lyricism that exists out there.
Awesome. Good pick. So I have a great pick in my brain. I love my answer to this. The Descendants album All has one of my all-time favorite songs on it, Pep Talk, which is just like it sounds. I want to know the story behind this. Like, I feel like if I could have a chat with Milo, I would be like, tell me the story behind that. Because like clearly he knew someone that got dumped, and the guy was, assuming it's a guy, I don't even know, clearly in the depths of funk. And I know every word of the song. I love shouting along to it in the car. But it's, like you're trying to cheer your buddy up, and the three, there's probably 4 lines, I guess, but it's you deserve the best. It's up to you to get it. Don't settle for less. You know you're the best, and don't you forget.
Aww.
But if that song, pardon me while I pick up my records. If that song was in karaoke anywhere, like that would be my go-to.
That's your karaoke song.
Yes,
You're switching from Love Boat theme.
That is my Love Boat theme song is my karaoke song. But most people are not going to have the Descendants pep talk on their karaoke list. But I wish they did, because
truly,
if you are if you get in the breakup thing we mentioned earlier, listen to Pep Talk by the Descendants and Lame to Be by Papas Fritas. Those are my 1, 2.
Papas Fritas.
Get yourself back up and go get them.
I wish I had Papas Fritas. Here, I need that one. Now I'm sad. I need to listen to that song, hype myself for not having that album.
You need a pep talk.
I need a pep talk. An album you never tire of. I knew which artist this was gonna be, but I couldn't pick the album. But then I have a very specific memory tied to this this record in particular. Against Me, Searching for a Form of Clarity. Shout out my girl Laura. Everything she does is great. She's whatever she does is just gonna be I love it. Huge Against Me fan, as if you know me, you know that. But this is one of the first records I bought here when I started working here. And this was back when this was $20 or something. And this is the cool black and white. And I literally could and have just listened to this whole album and then listen to it again. But I bought this when I was 18 and started working here, and I still lived with my parents. And I went home. I had a really crappy record player. And my mom made lasagna and saved me some, and so it was really late. I got home and I listened to this album and ate lasagna, and then literally put it back on and played it again, because I was wow, it sounds even so much better on vinyl. I was this is so cool.
Nice.
But I love everything Against Me does, and pretty much any of their albums I'm never gonna get sick of.
And I have selected my favorite album of all time, which is usually going to be the answer to this, I guess. Which may be Spicy Take. Used to be Loveless, which I brought up earlier, but The Sundays, Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic. Flawless album, start to finish. I will never, ever, you could play this all day today, just over and over and over, and tomorrow I'll come in and play it again, because it just will never grow old. It's such an incredible album. Another artist that I miss, this was maybe even the real answer is everyone who loves the Sundays is please reform. But I think Harriet became a school teacher. I don't know what David's doing. I don't know their story. I'd like to know though.
Tell us your story.
We were listening to that today.
Okay, all right.
It has been
I'm excited.
So the last question here is to, or not a question,
just
is share your favorite vinyl community channel. So we're gonna shout out Melinda Murphy.
Melinda,
who has a great channel. She happens to be a customer of ours and has been for some years. Every time she would visit St. Augustine, she would come in. She's given us a little shout out before too. And she just moved to town, so it's great to have her in more often, I guess.
She's a celebrity.
But so check out her channel. Give her a subscribe if you are interested in hearing her talk about records, because she does a great job.
Yeah, agree. All right. Cool. I think that's everything.
That wraps it up.
Yeah, this was very fun. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next year if you're only watching these. But we're gonna add some other.
In the meantime, check out our funny content. We got some funny stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool stuff happening at the Tournament channel, and come in and shop if you're local, and if you're not local, still come in and shop. Shop at our website.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.